Well, good morning, friends. What a great day. We're going to celebrate today, right? We've got our homecoming carnival. Yes, we do. That's going to be fun. Aren't the decorations gorgeous? Thank you to everyone who had a part in that. Today's readings are about losing and finding, searching and finding. And you may have noticed that we had a color change, not for the carnival, although it certainly fits, right? We're wearing red because today is the Feast of the Holy Cross. September 14th is Holy Cross Day. And it's very appropriate that we think about finding things because in the year 326, Empress Helena, mother of Constantine the Great, she set out on a pilgrimage to the Holy Land. She was almost 80 years old at this point. She was determined to uncover the relics of Jesus Christ. Now, according to Christian tradition and lore, it was on this journey that she took that the true cross of Christ was found. Digging beneath the stones of a pagan temple, Helena's workers uncovered the empty tomb of Christ, the very site of his burial. At another site, they found 3 wooden crosses and the plaque inscribed Jesus of Nazareth, King of the Jews, and even the nails of the crucifixion. But they wondered which cross was Christ's. The story tells us that an ill woman was brought forward. She was debilitated with an illness and touched the first cross. Nothing happened. Touched the second cross, nothing happened. And she touched the third cross, and she was immediately healed. And they knew and proclaimed throughout the empire that this was the true cross of Christ. And so what did Constantine's mother do? Well, she did what any good leader would do, and she built 2 of the holiest churches in all of Christendom. The Church of the Holy Sepulchre in Jerusalem and the Church of the Nativity in Bethlehem. And I know many of us have been to both of those places. At the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, if you go early in the morning, you might be the only one there, as I was one day at dawn. The keepers unlock the doors. They're gigantic doors. They have to stand on great ladders to get the doors open. And if you put your hands on the walls next to the doors, you'll notice little tiny crosses, pilgrims' crosses inscribed in the walls. Sort of an ancient form of graffiti. As the pilgrims made their way to the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, they marked it literally with a cross. Sometimes they marked themselves. Some of you and some others have tattoos from the Holy Land. I did not do that, but it's pretty cool. Anyway, we went in, and the guide walks me down through passageways and down further. And some of you may have done this too. You go down these stone, almost labyrinthine pathways and stairs, and all of them are marked with these tiny little crosses, thousands of them in the walls. And further down at the bottom, well underneath the church itself, is a cistern, the cistern of St. Helena, and it is filled with water when there is enough rain in Jerusalem. It's a part of the ancient waterways. And something about that really touches me. It's like there's a giant baptismal font under the holy sacred spot in Jerusalem. I loved that. It was my favorite part of the whole trip. If you go on a pilgrimage, try to get them to take you down in there. It's pretty special. So what did she do? She built these crosses. She built these churches, but she also divided the relics of the cross, sending them to Constantinople, to Rome, and to Jerusalem. So interestingly enough, we don't worship the cross. We only worship the living God. We venerate the cross. And it is in that same spirit that we also venerate all of the sacred places of our worship. We worship the one who hung on the cross, the one who saves us, the one who brings us eternal life. Just like Helena, we are pilgrims and we search for signs of the gospel, signs of healing of the living God, the God incarnate. We want to touch the story of the incarnation, the living God present here and now. We do that here at All Saints. We do it not perfectly, but we do it faithfully. We think about the true cross of Christ. Helena separated those into 3 special places. But when I'm thinking about you, when I think about each one of you gathered here today, when I think about our church as a living, breathing incarnation of the living God, I think we have the true cross right here. I think each one of you has a part of the true cross right within you. Can you feel it? When you're baptized, there is the mark. Yes, she can feel it. That you keep her right there. That is totally fine. When you are baptized, the priest marks a sign of the cross on your forehead. When I offer you a blessing, I mark the cross on your forehead. When you are anointed for healing, that oil is marked in a cross on your forehead. Friends, that cross does not go away. That cross is still there. I can see it, and I can feel it. And we together make up the living cross of Christ. So I want you to think for just a minute about a time that you came here maybe for the first time, although I know at least 2 people probably can't remember their first visit to All Saints. But I want you to think for a minute about the first time you came here and knew that this was a special place for you. Maybe you felt like, oh, this is home. This feels like home for me in a way that no other place has. And I hear that quite a lot, honestly, from those of you who've been here for generations, and then someone who's come just that day. They'll say, this is my first time here, but it kind of feels like home. Is that normal? And I'll say, yeah, actually it is. Welcome home. I'm glad you're here. You have had that experience here at All Saints. Just as Helena knew when she found the true cross of Christ, you know here when you find the true cross at All Saints. And today we're honoring our centennial with a party, but we're going to start that party with a story, with your story. And I want you to, in just a minute, I'm going to give you something to do. We're going to try a different kind of sermon, one that you share in the telling. And I'm going to ask you to turn to somebody next to you or in front of you or behind you. You're going to pair up, maybe with somebody you don't know so well. And I'd like for you to share just a snippet of when you felt the true Spirit of Christ here for you, when you knew this was your church home. And each of you tell that story, and then I'm going to bring you back to the center somehow. So it's different, isn't it? I've actually never done this in a sermon. So this is going to be fun to try. I've always wanted to try this. So I thought, why not? So maybe turn to somebody behind you or in front of you if you're sitting next to somebody you know super well and share a story. And you've got a couple of minutes, so go. And choir, go for it. Y'all go for it. It's about time to start wrapping up your stories. Well, that looked like fun. Was that fun? So I'm going to wander around for just a second, and I'm going to ask you one prompt just to share a little bit. You all know I can't just let you share with each other. I've got to get you back into the center. So I'm going to ask you to share what was a feeling you had when you about your story, when you knew this. I'd like you to share a feeling that you had, and I'm going to tap Reverend Ann. What was a feeling that you had when you knew?
Heartfelt joy.
Heartfelt joy. Hank, you're up.
A sense of peace.
Sense of peace. Any of you want to share a feeling you had? Maybe? Yeah, okay, good. William.
Welcoming.
A feeling of welcoming. That is beautiful. Okay, I'm going to do one choir member. Who wants to share a feeling you had when you knew? I'm not surprised, Miss Dana.
Settled.
Settled. Oh, that is beautiful. That is beautiful. All right, I'm wandering down. Here I come. Give me a little flag if you want to share a feeling you had when you walked in and knew this was your spot.
I cried throughout the whole service, and my heart was just full of love, and I couldn't help it.
That is really beautiful. You cried for love and joy, right? Yes. Yeah, good. That's not uncommon, actually. How many people had tears when you kind of knew? Jerry, hang on. I've got to give you this so you can.
This is a place that I felt was home forever. I mean, really, the minute I walked in here, I knew there was something special. The second time was just like, wow. And the people are terrific. The feeling, the worship is gorgeous. The liturgies are gorgeous. And I just felt like, I'm never leaving this place. I never will.
Well, we're all glad that you're going to be here forever, for sure. You want to share a feeling? Yeah. Stand up.
I felt really grateful that I have that blessing to be part of a community that's so welcoming and accepting.
That is beautiful. We feel the same way about you. Okay, one more big feeling. Okay.
The minute my feet crossed over the threshold, I felt the Spirit of the Lord, and I was so happy to get here, and I'm excited every Sunday. I'm very happy to be here.
Thank you, and we see that joy in you every Sunday as well. Okay, we could do this for a whole other hour, but we won't. All right. So, we're going to finish our worship service, and then as a part of the carnival, John Paul has set up a storytelling station in the chapel. And I want to make sure that you have a chance to share your story. And so during the carnival, at some point, you can get a QR code and upload your phone to share a story, or you can come in here, and there's a whole setup for you to share a story about your experience here at All Saints. So this was to prime the pump a little bit too, and get you ready to share that story. And how are we going to use those? Those are going to be a part of our archive, a part of our Centennial Archive. And so I want your story to be a part of that as well. So we thank Constantine's mom for going on that pilgrimage, and at almost as an octogenarian, having the faith and the fortitude to find those relics and to build those churches and to instill in all of us this sense of the true cross of Christ that we can access together and in our own heart and through our stories. Let's embrace that today and as we go from here and celebrate. Amen.